Imagine an 18-year-old girl. She is standing in front of a big door. This is the door of a convent. Convent is a building or set of buildings where nuns live. For years, this has been her home. Now she thinks of leaving. She has to make a big decision. Will she stay here and become a nun, or will she go out into the world? She is an orphan. Her mother died a long time ago. Her father left her. Life has been hard. The nuns at the convent are very strict, but she has learned to sew here. Now she is 18. It is time to choose her path. The girl takes a deep breath. She decides to leave the convent. She walks away from the door. She is going into the unknown. She wants to make her own life. She wants to be someone. This girl was Gabrielle Chanel. You might know her as Coco Chanel. She became a very famous fashion designer. People all over the world know her name. Her brand, Chanel, is worth billions of dollars today. But how did this happen? How did a poor girl from an orphanage become a global fashion icon? It is a story with many parts. There are two stories about Coco Chanel. There is the story she told about herself. And then there is the real story, the truth. Chanel liked to change details about her life. She wanted people to see her in a certain way, but the real story is more interesting and more complicated. This book will tell you about the life of Coco Chanel. It is a story of poverty and ambition. It is about how she built a huge business. It is also about difficult times. She lived through 2 world wars. Some people say she even made money from these wars. There are also serious accusations about her. Some say she was a Nazi spy during World War II. Coco Chanel's life was full of amazing success and dark secrets. She created a fashion empire that changed how women dress, but her personal life was full of controversy. This book will explore her life. We will look at the rise of her fashion empire. We will also see the times when things went wrong, and then how she became successful again. Get ready to learn about the fascinating and complex life of Coco Chanel. 2. A poor girl's start. Gabrielle Chanel was born in 1883. She was not born into a rich family. Her family was poor and lived in a small town in France. Her father worked as a salesman. He traveled to different towns to sell clothes. Her mother washed clothes to earn money. When Gabrielle was only 12 years old, her mother died. This was a very sad time for Gabrielle. Soon after her mother's death, her father left her. He did not take Gabrielle with him. He sent her to a place for children without parents. This place was called an orphanage. Nuns, who are women in the church, ran the orphanage. The nuns were very strict. Life in the orphanage was not happy for Gabrielle. She felt miserable there. She waited for the day she could leave and be an adult. But there was one good thing about the orphanage. Gabrielle learned how to sew. She learned to make clothes and decorate hats. When Gabrielle was 18, she left the orphanage. She wanted to learn more about sewing, so she went to a special school for girls. This school was to help girls improve their skills. Gabrielle wanted a new life, far away from her sad childhood. She dreamed of a life with nice things and lots of money. She looked at the rich women in society and wanted to be like them. Gabrielle knew that to have the life she dreamed of, she needed money. She wondered how she could get it. She did not know what the future would bring, but she was ready to find out. 3. Singing and sewing. When Gabrielle was about 20 years old, she started working as a seamstress. It was not a glamorous job, but it was a start. She worked in a place where soldiers often came. They needed their uniforms fixed or changed. Gabrielle was good at sewing and she was also very pretty. The soldiers noticed her. One soldier thought she was very beautiful and nice. One evening, a soldier invited Gabrielle to a music show. It was new for her. Now, she had never been to a place with rich and important people before. At first, she felt shy. But then she saw that anyone could sing on the stage even if they were not famous. Gabrielle liked to sing. She thought it was a chance to impress people. She sang and people liked it. After that night, Gabrielle got a job singing in a club in the evenings. Some people think this is when she got the nickname Coco. She often sang a song about a girl named Coco, but Coco Chanel herself said the name meant kept woman in French. Maybe the real story is not clear. Coco often changed details about her life. She even said she lived with her aunts, not in an orphanage. But whatever the story, Gabrielle Chanel became known as Coco Chanel. So Coco worked 2 jobs. During the day, she was a seamstress, sewing clothes for people. In the evening, she was a singer in a club, singing for the crowds. At one of these shows, she met a rich and playful man named Etienne Balsan. He played polo and had a lot of money. Soon, Coco and Etienne started a relationship. She became his mistress. Through Etienne, Coco entered a new world, the world of high society. She met rich and important people. She went to parties and events with them. Etienne even let her live in his big house, a chateau. He gave her expensive gifts like beautiful dresses and jewelry. These were the best fashions of the time. But Coco started to feel unhappy with the clothes Etienne bought for her. She realized that women's fashion was made by men. These designs were pretty, but they were not comfortable or practical. Women had to wear dresses that were very tight. It was hard to breathe and move in them. Coco thought this was silly. She had an idea. One day when she went to an event with Etienne, she did something surprising. She wore a man's suit. It was made to fit her body, but it was still men's clothes. She also wore a hat that she had made herself. It was simple, not big and fancy like other women's hats. Everyone was shocked. Coco looked very different from other women. People talked about her clothes. She got the attention she wanted. Coco started to design her own clothes. She wanted to show that women could be elegant and comfortable at the same time. She believed women did not always need tight dresses and long skirts. Luxury could be simple and easy to wear. When she wore trousers in Venice, people were surprised again. Etienne saw that Coco had talent. He gave her a room in his chateau to make hats and clothes. He thought it was just a hobby for her. But Coco had bigger plans. She wanted to start her own business. She needed money to do it. She knew rich people, but no one wanted to invest in her idea yet. Coco was getting impatient. Then, at one of Etienne's parties, she met a friend of his. His name was Arthur Capel, and he was a very rich Englishman. Meeting Arthur Capel would change Coco's life completely. They fell in love and they also became business partners. 4. Making hats and clothes. Soon, Coco met a very important person. He was Arthur Boy Capel, a friend of Balsan. Boy was rich and from England. Coco and Boy fell in love. Coco decided to leave Balsan and start a new life with Boy. They moved to Paris. Boy Capel believed in Coco and her talent. He gave her money to start her own business. In 1910, Coco opened her first shop in Paris. It was called Chanel Modes and it sold hats. Coco's hats were different. At that time, women wore big hats with lots of decorations like flowers and feathers. Coco's hats were simple and elegant. They were comfortable to wear and looked very stylish. People liked them very much. Famous actresses and rich women in Paris started wearing Coco's hats. Her hats became very popular. Coco's shop was doing well and she was getting more and more customers. Coco did not just want to make hats, she had ideas for clothes too. She wanted to make clothes that were comfortable and easy for women to wear but still looked luxurious. Coco knew where rich people spent their holidays, Deauville. She went to Deauville with Boy. While Boy thought it was just a holiday, Coco was looking for the perfect place for a new shop. She found a good spot and in 1913 she opened her first clothes shop in Deauville. Boy Capel helped her with money and business ideas. In Deauville, Coco used a new fabric called jersey. Jersey was usually used for men's underwear. It was soft and comfortable. Coco made simple, casual clothes from jersey. Women loved them. For the first time, women could wear clothes that were both comfortable and fashionable. Coco wanted women to feel free and happy in her clothes. Coco's shops in Paris and Deauville were very successful. She was starting to become a famous designer. Her business was growing and she was making money. Coco was happy because she was doing what she loved and women liked her designs. Her dream of a luxurious life was beginning to come true. 5. War, loss, and success. In 1914, big trouble started in Europe. It was World War I. Suddenly, things changed for everyone, including Coco Chanel. People were worried about the war, not about buying expensive clothes. Chanel's business was in danger. Men went to fight in the war, and women started to work in factories and offices. They needed different clothes, not fancy dresses. Chanel was clever. She understood what women needed now. She started making clothes that were simple and comfortable. She used the jersey fabric she liked. Jersey was soft and easy to wear. She made dresses that were good for working women. These dresses became very popular. Women liked that they could move easily and still look stylish. While the war was bad, it was also a chance for Chanel. She changed her designs and made clothes for the time. Her business did not stop, it grew. She turned a difficult situation into a success. By the 1920s, Chanel was even more famous. She showed that she could be strong and smart in hard times. But in her personal life, things were not so good. Her relationship with Boy Capel had problems. Capel was still important to her, but in 1918 he married another woman. She was from a rich English family. Chanel was very sad. Even though Capel married someone else, he and Chanel stayed together in secret. She was still his mistress. She was happy that he was still in her life. Then in 1919, something terrible happened. Boy Capel died in a car accident. It was a shock for Chanel. She lost the man she loved. Capel had helped her start her business and had always been there for her. His death was a big loss. People say that after Capel died, Coco Chanel was never seen crying again. She was very sad inside, but she did not show her sadness to the world. This loss changed her life, but it also made her even more determined to be successful. 6. Perfume and problems. After Boy Capel died, Coco Chanel was very sad and also angry. She felt alone. But this sadness made her want to work even harder. She wanted to show the world what she could do. In 1921, Chanel launched a new perfume. It was called Chanel No. 5. Perfumes at that time usually smelled like just one flower like roses or vanilla, but Chanel No. 5 was different. It was made with many different smells mixed together. This made it special and new. Chanel No. 5 became very popular. Everyone wanted to buy it. It became a symbol of luxury and class. It was a big success for Chanel. But Chanel had a problem. Boy Capel had helped her with her business. Now he was gone. She needed someone to help her with the perfume business, especially with making and selling it. In 1924, Chanel found a new business partner. His name was Pierre Wertheimer. He was a rich businessman who knew about luxury brands. They made a deal for Chanel No. 5. But the deal was not very good for Chanel. She only got 10% of the money made from the perfume. Wertheimer got much more. This was a problem that would cause her trouble later. Around this time, Chanel also created a logo for her brand. It was two C's linked together. This CC logo became very famous and is still used today. Chanel continued to create new and exciting fashions. She made the little black dress. It was simple but elegant and became very popular. She also designed two-tone shoes, which were shoes with two different colors. And she made sportswear for women, which was new and comfortable. Chanel started dating a very important man, the Duke of Westminster. He was British royalty. Because of him, Chanel met many important people like Winston Churchill. She was now part of high society. Her business kept growing. She started making jewelry and handbags too. By the 1930s, Chanel was very famous. She was known all over the world for her fashion. But at the same time, big problems were starting in Europe. Nazi Germany was becoming more powerful. This would bring new problems for Chanel in the years to come. 7. War and Secrets. In 1940, a big change happened. World War II started and German soldiers came to Paris. Coco Chanel decided to close her fashion shops. Many people lost their jobs because of this, but Chanel did not leave Paris. She moved to a very fancy hotel called the Hotel Ritz. This hotel became the place where the Nazi leaders stayed in Paris. During this time, Chanel started a relationship with a German officer. His name was Hans Gunther von Dinklage. Because of this, people started to say bad things about Chanel. They said she was helping the Nazis. Some people even thought she was a spy for Germany. They called her Agent F7124. It was said that Chanel used her rich and famous friends to help the Germans. She knew important people in England, even some from the royal family. People said the Nazis used Chanel to get secret information. At the same time, Chanel tried to use the war to help her business. The person who was her business partner for the perfume, Pierre Wertheimer, was Jewish. The Nazis made laws against Jewish people. Chanel tried to use these laws to take control of the perfume business completely. She wanted to get rid of Wertheimer and have all the money from the perfume for herself. But Pierre Wertheimer was clever. Before he left France, he made sure that his part of the perfume business was safe. He gave it to a friend who was not Jewish just for a short time. So Chanel could not take over the perfume business. When the war finished, France was free again. People who had helped the Germans were in trouble. Chanel was arrested, but surprisingly, she was released very quickly. Nobody knows exactly why. Some people think that Winston Churchill, who was a powerful man in England and a friend of Chanel, helped her to get free. Others say she paid people money to be released. Maybe there was not enough proof against her, or maybe important people wanted to keep her secrets hidden. After being released, many people in France were angry with Chanel. They did not like that she had been with a German officer during the war. It was not safe for her to stay in France. So Coco Chanel left Paris and went to live in Switzerland. She stayed there for many years, away from the eyes of the public. 8. Return and remembering Coco. After many years in Switzerland, Coco Chanel watched the fashion world change. She did not like the new styles. Christian Dior's dresses were very popular, but Coco thought they were too much. She said they made women look like armchairs. Coco believed women wanted to be comfortable and free in their clothes. At 71 years old, Coco decided to come back to fashion. It was a surprise to everyone. Pierre Wertheimer, her old business partner, helped her. Even though they had problems in the past, he knew Coco was good for business. In 1954, Coco opened her fashion house again, but France was not happy to see her back. People remembered her actions during the war. Newspapers wrote bad things about her new collection. They said it was a failure. French women did not like her designs at first. However, things were different in America. American women loved Coco's new clothes. They were modern and comfortable. Famous women like Jackie Kennedy and movie stars started wearing Chanel. Suddenly, Coco was famous again. Her simple, elegant style was perfect for the new, modern woman. Coco became known for new classic pieces like the tweed suit. It was stylish and easy to wear. She worked hard until she died in 1971 at the age of 87. After her death, Karl Lagerfeld became the head designer for Chanel. He continued her work and made the brand even more famous. Today, the Wertheimer family still owns Chanel. They are very rich and successful. Coco Chanel's brand is known all over the world. But people still have different opinions about Coco Chanel. Some remember her as a fashion genius. She changed the way women dressed and gave them freedom. Others remember her for her actions during the war. They say she worked with the Nazis. It is a complicated story. Coco Chanel was both a great innovator and a controversial person. Her brand is still strong, even though she is gone. What did Coco think about what people said about her? She once said, "I don't care what you think of me. I don't think about you at all." This shows how strong and independent she was until the very end.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.